All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Eternal Festival Proxy Legacy Friday night event. This is our round one feature match.
I don't think either of them know that they're okay to start, though.
Yeah. Go.
I'll go tell them.
Okay. We've got Patrick Yuhas on the left. He's playing Blue-Black Reanimator versus Wes Ormsbee on the right, who's playing a deck that is 4-color and contains the card Delver of Secrets. Now, I'm not sure calling it 4-color Delver is going to give you a good idea of what that means, because when I hear 4-color Delver, I think of like the no-white Delver deck that plays like Gurmag Angler, Snapcaster Mage, Kolaghan's Command, the one that tries to play longer than like a typical Grixis or Bug deck. But we'll see. We'll just let you guys see what Wes is up to, and if we need to adapt to how we refer to his deck, we will. But I'm sure you're all familiar with the Blue-Black Reanimator. Let's see.
I'm not a fan of Reanimator, but mostly because any deck I play
With Elish Norn.
Yeah. It's real good against whatever I play.
I'm not a big combo guy, but I do like classic Reanimator. There's just something about making a turn 1 Gristlebrand that's not bad.
I mean, playing against it, not a fan. I do like the deck, though. I think it's a great deck. Yeah. I think it's a lot of fun.
So Pat's on the play. He's going to start off with Careful Study. He'll draw 2 and then discard 2. So we might see a Gristlebrand enter the bin. Lotus Petal Reanimate? He did discard, it looks like Brainstorm Gristlebrand, and he's just going to pass. And Wes's hand, all I can make out is, I think it's a Polluted Delta and a Brainstorm.
Yes, that's a Polluted Delta. Wes, of course, playing with, I think, all Expeditions.
Yeah, proxied Expeditions. Why not? Like, if you're going to proxy, you might as well proxy the
Why not go
ones.
deep?
Yeah, I can see that. Now, I often call Blue-Black Reanimator the bar for Legacy because it can win with 2 mana and essentially 2 cards. With Entomb for 1 black, Reanimate for 1 black, has a Gristlebrand, has essentially won the game. So we could see a Gristlebrand as early as right now.
Could have seen it as early as last turn.
Yeah.
But Patrick, not the most aggressive hand.
Yeah, apparently. Or he could be playing a little slower. Maybe he decided to play around days because he had the ability to, or maybe for some other reason. But he does have a Reanimate in hand, so he could attempt to make a Gristlebrand right here.
Unless he didn't actually discard the Gristlebrand.
I swear it was a Gristlebrand. This Brainstorm could also be a bait. He could be trying to bait out a Daze or a Spell Pierce here.
Probably. I don't see Wes using anything like too crazy yet.
I might consider Spell Piercing this, but I probably wouldn't Daze it.
No.
Get our life totals up. We've had a fetch land each from each player, bringing us down to 19. Alright, yeah, so here's the Spell Pierce.
And Patrick's not going to fight over that.
No. And here's our Reanimate. Yarp. Yep. Do we have a Daze?
Do we have a Force of Will? We have a Force of Will.
So
pitching. I think West down to 18. Force of Will, pitching. Is it a Force pitching Force?
It might have been a Force pitch Daze.
Okay.
Those master or whatever invocations, it's really difficult to tell.
It is, especially now his are proxied too.
Yeah, honestly I'm not sure that helps too much. Like I remember watching GP Vegas coverage and having no idea like what the cards were. A guy had a Vindicate in his deck, and like nobody could tell what it was. Like even the commentators were like, I'm sorry, we don't know what that card is.
So like the floor judges were on their headsets.
Yeah, they had.
It's a Vindicate.
Yeah, that is what happened. All right, so here's a fetch for Patrick. He just cracked a fetch, right? Did
it looks like
is that a Stifle?
Stifled.
Okay, all right. Invocation Stifle from West Ormsbee.
So I was wondering what that was. Yep, it's a Stifle.
It must have been a Stifle. All right, so here's Ponder. And West is not going to let Patrick do anything this game, apparently.
I mean, I don't hate it, but eventually if he grinds Patrick out, like, I feel like it's a losing proposition for Patrick because he doesn't have a ton of reanimate spells. Was it Entomb, Exhume, and Animate Dead?
Usually it's not even Animate Dead is always played. Because it might be getting played more now with Abrupt Decay running around a little bit less.
Okay.
But I mean, typically 4 Reanimate, 4 Exhumes, and maybe 1 or 2 Animate Deads.
Animate Deads.
Yeah. It's definitely the Animate Dead is definitely more played in the red-black version. Okay. So Ponder's
Which
good.
makes sense because they don't find nearly as much. Looks like an Entomb, a land, and a Reanimate.
Correct.
Putting them back in the exact same order they looked at them.
Yep.
Drawing the Reanimate.
He's just gonna punch reanimation spells into this until Wes says otherwise.
How do you feel about going now into if Wes were to have a daze? I know, it looks like he has a
that's a Thoughtseize.
Invocation on the far left. Yeah, that is a Thoughtseize though. It's gonna get a surgical extraction.
Yep.
Probably hitting the
Gristlebrand.
Yep.
So the Thoughtseize I definitely like playing into daze. If he were casting Reanimate there, I would wait another turn because he's under no pressure.
Yeah. I was worried if he was gonna try to reanimate on this turn or not.
So actually, now that we're seeing Patrick's full hand, I like that play because you're okay trading a Thoughtseize for a daze, because that's still a 1-for-1. You save yourself a couple life, which matters a lot when you want to reanimate when you're casting the card Reanimate.
Yep.
Now this is going to hurt. Main deck surgical extractions.
He's running 4 of them.
It's not getting any value because there wasn't a Gristlebrand in Pat's hand, but Gristlebrand is definitely the main win condition of this deck, so it's definitely...
It's still fine because Pat had the Reanimate in hand to get the Gristlebrand
so
out of the yard
he's sort of nullifying the Reanimate until another card makes its way into the bin.
Yep.
So it's kind of a 1-for-1.
And it looks like a Force of Will...
pitching Delver. Or no, he has Force of Will and Delver, and Pat will choose the Force, which is... I don't know. Hey, they have just junded each other into the ground here.
And Wes is at 15 now from that exchange, it looks like, because of the surgical and I think Patrick's on to 16 because of
go ahead and
Thoughtseize.
I'm just bringing up our Facebook chat. We do have our Facebook and our Twitch chat now, so if you want to join in the conversation, go right ahead. All right, so here's Delver for Wes and pass back.
And a Wasteland from Wes to take out his
Underground Sea.
Underground Sea.
Yeah, but Patrick had that swamp, so we're all right. Here's
Ponder.
Ponder. Show and Tell, Swamp, Ponder. So he's looking for a creature. He's got a Reanimate. He could have a Show and Tell. He just needs a creature and a way to put it into the bin. Ideally, like he would like to see their like Collective Brutality, Elish Norn, or
are we in Magical Christmas land here, Ryan?
Collective Brutality, kill your Delver, discard my Elish Norn.
Draw Entomb. Well, that's fine.
That plays.
I feel like I just fire off the Entomb right now while you're not at any risk of anything of him.
If not on his main phase, would the Delver trigger on the stack? Or no, did Wes have a card in hand?
No.
Okay,
Wes was
yeah.
empty-handed.
Then yeah, I probably would have done it. Yeah. Because now that Brainstorm could represent any number of counter spells. Well, not Force. It could represent a Daze or a Spell Pierce.
Well, he had to reveal it to the Delver, so like he knows he's got 3 cards. One of them could counter this Entomb.
But like you were saying, that's why he should have done it either in his main phase or with the Delver trigger on the stack.
Yeah.
And Patrick drew, or no, this is at the end of Wes's turn. He's going to try to Entomb here, and Wes should probably try to fight.
Yep.
And he's going to Brainstorm a response. Something that, hi Tim. Something that Legacy players tend to pick up is that it's better to fight over the discard spells, the things that put the creatures in the graveyard, over the reanimation spells, because there tend to be fewer. There are fewer Entomb effects.
Yep.
Although that may not be true anymore with the advent of Collective Brutality. It's hard to say. But that is the traditional idea. right, so
looks like
yep. So that's going to resolve.
Counter spell, which is a lucky break. I feel like for Patrick.
Yep.
Unless Wes is waiting on. Maybe he has it and is waiting to like. All right.
Here's a Grave Titan.
Here's a Grave Titan, but maybe like Wes found one and is just waiting for next turn to get the reanimate as well.
I wish I knew what other options Patrick had in his deck.
I think whenever Wes was going through it, I saw Elishnorn too.
So
and I think those were his three.
No Inkwell Leviathan.
There might have been. I didn't see one though.
Because I think I would have really liked Inkwell Leviathan right here. All right. So here's Reanimate. Pat's going to go down to 7 now.
Yep. We've been real bad with these life totals. But.
Yeah, we traditionally are. We'll make an effort, people. But that's why we have the dice. All right, so here's Grave Titan. He brought 2 friends, his +2s.
His significant others.
I'm wondering if Wes plays Daze in this deck, considering he has a basic Swamp.
Pulse.
Or Vindicate, I believe.
Or Vindicate?
Yeah, I believe there's a Vindicate. But still, right. Pat gets some value here. Although Wes is winning this race on board.
Yes. Pat needs to find something to deal with this. Looks like another and 2.
Alright, so it's Careful Study.
But what's the other card in his hand?
Force of Will.
Okay.
Bloodstained Mire and Force of Will.
Well, that's awkward.
Yeah, that's not ideal. So
Nope.
Yeah, Pat's just going to go ahead and scoop it up. He would have one more draw step, but chances are he's not going to dig himself out of that. So Wes Ormsbee is going to take game 1. He's up 1 with his 4-color-ish Delver E-type deck over Pat Yuhas with the blue-black Reanimator.
I was looking through it. There were sinkholes in there.
Sinkholes were great, yeah.
Sinkholes, 4 surgicals.
Mm-hmm. Mind Funeral's pretty spicy.
What does Mind Funeral do?
That's the one that you mill until you hit 3 lands.
Yep.
Which in Legacy, like, you know, some decks run as few as 18 or less lands.
True.
And you're constantly like pulling lands out of your deck with fetch lands. So Mind Funeral could be pretty brutal. Although I'm not sure you want to Mind Funeral your Reanimator.
Probably not. I feel like that'd be one of the first things Wes takes out here.
Yeah.
Like Mind Funeraling me seems really good. Like elves.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I have 19 lands in the deck.
As long as your opponent's not playing one of the graveyard combo decks or something like that plays a lot of Delve or Kolaghan's Commander Snapcaster, you're probably all right. I would love to see Death and Taxes get Mind Funeraled. Although likely it would you'd have to pay 4 to do it. Alright, so we have some sideboarding going on. We've got some intel. Sorry guys, just getting a message from our Lord and Savior Ron Davis. Had to give him a quick reply. So I'm not sure. So from the Reanimator standpoint, probably post-board you're going to see more show and tells. We saw that he had at least 1 in his main board. But the traditional plan is to go up in show and tells post-board to help fight against
graveyard hate.
Yeah, and also like I don't think he's playing the Green Splash, but the Green Splash has become pretty normal because you bring in Abrupt Decays post-board against the Grafdigger's Cages and the Rest in Pieces and such. Maybe that's fallen off a little bit with the popularity of Red-Black Reanimator and the downfall of Miracles. Hi, Paul.
That's Paul.
That's Paul.
That's Paul.
That's Paul.
Old Mountaineer 29.
Old Mountaineer 29. Paul Mills. Paul Mills in the house. It's hard.
A resident sneak and show player.
Aha. We do have a sneaking show.
Playing tonight?
Yes, we do. It's not my favorite deck, but it looks great on camera.
It does. It's not my favorite deck either. I've had a lot of people be like, why? You seem like the exact person who would play Sneak and Show, and I'm like, but why though?
I mean, like I have an immense amount of respect for the deck because
it's really good.
Yeah, it's might be after maybe only Storm. It's probably the best combo deck in the format right now. It's definitely one of the best decks, but it just doesn't speak to me.
You're missing green-black Storm.
Spanish Inquisition.
Elves.
Oh yeah. Well, there's 2 green-black Storm decks.
Sorry.
That's okay. And maybe I want to call Elves Mono Green Storm and call Spanish Inquisition Green Black Storm.
Green-black. I mean, true. Elves does only play black for like sideboard abrupt decays.
To be fair, Paul, I have never actually. It's one of the few legacy decks that I've never played a single game with. So, I'm sure
it's a legacy deck that I've never desired to play a single game with.
I'm sure like making a turn 1 Gristlebrand is definitely fun.
If I wanted to make a turn 1 Gristlebrand, though, I'd rather be playing it in Reanimator.
Reanimator speaks to me a little bit more because I like the toolboxiness of Entomb, where you like, is it better to go get Elshnorn or is it better to go get Inkwell Leviathan here?
Or your Paul, who just draws all the sneak attacks in a row against me, and then he's like, oh, I just happened to draw 2 Emeralds in a row, too. And I'm like, wow, cool, man. Must be nice.
Well, he's gotten us all at one point or another. All right, so Pat's just going to say Bloodstained Mire and pass, looks like. Yep, all right, so Wes is going to play Polluted Delta. Looks like he's might be thinking about casting that Brainstorm here, which seems aggressive, but, well, I don't know the rest of his hand, so I will not judge.
Maybe yeah, I feel like the turn 1 Brainstorm, main phase Brainstorm.
It's typically not the best play.
Oh, he might be playing the Delver.
Oh, yeah, if he has a Delver, you need to play that Delver. All right, so here's Island. Oh, Paul.
There's nothing nice about an Emrakul. I'm sure Jace and the Gatewatch were like, man, she's so nice as she's coming in to annihilate everyone.
It's going to kill Innistrad, just going to kill the plane. Alright, so Pat's going to fetch at the end of turn. We might see an Entomb here.
Yeah, Wes like, yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
It's cool, man. It's cool. Lots of shuffling in Legacy.
Too much.
Alright, so here's end turn Brainstorm.
Entomb,
Force of Will.
Land.
Yeah, Bloodstained Mire.
Bloodstained Mire.
So, and I see a Ponder.
And I think a Reanimate in his hand.
I was thinking an Exhume, but it's one of those types. Alright, so he's gonna kick back 2 cards. We might see him go for it here, but West did show us a whole lot of counter spells in game 1. Though here he has to have Force. I don't think he's on days, considering he has basic Plains, basic Swamp in his deck.
No, he's gonna find a way to make those into islands.
I mean, I've played
Prismatic Omen.
I've played Force of Will Thalia, so
seems great.
Yeah, like I mean, these things happen. I've played a deck that had Gaddock Teague, Thalia, Force of Will, Brainstorm. Like I played that deck, so
seems great.
Yeah, no, I loved it. Like it was great.
It's Bant. I mean, what's there not to love about it?
I was 1 win off of winning a Force of Will at a side event at GP Richmond with it.
You know what that deck really needed though? Just hear me out. Although it wouldn't have come out then. Was this like in the modern GP a while ago?
The big one, yeah.
It really needed a Tameo Field Researcher.
Oh yeah, it did. Oh yeah, it did. It had Jaces in the sideboard, so I would have cut a Jace for a Tameo Field Researcher in about a heartbeat.
I would have never even considered Jace. I'd be like, 4-mana Planeswalker, Tameo.
Well, I mean, just because he was already in the slot, and then once Tameo was printed, I'd be like, you're out.
Yeah, get out of here.
Get out, yeah. All right, more cantripping for Pat. He's going to kick it back.
Hold open, Force of Will
trigger
into
reveals
swords
to Plowshares. We got a tree 2. It's coming at you.
Insectile Aberration.
Wesley's going to take a look at the contents of his hand. I see a lot of lands.
I do see a lot of lands. That would appear to be a wasteland.
Yeah, that's the wasteland, the expedition. He's going to target the untapped Underground Sea. Pat's proxies are really nice. They look real.
They look almost real.
Yeah.
Good
Just
on you, Pat. They're in color too.
Watch them be real.
Wild. Big Pat, where'd you get those?
All right, so Entomb, flow to black, cast for Entomb in response.
Wesley let it resolve.
Yeah.
It seems like he let it resolve pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm guessing he didn't have anything there for that, or I would spell pierce that in a heartbeat. All right, Iona.
That's really awkward because what do you name against a 4-color deck?
I guess you just name. Well, he saw the swords, so he has to say white. Unless, okay, so here's a search.
We're gonna see a force here finally. Looks like a force pitch brainstorm. Like, or does Pet just say, yeah, that's fine, because it looked like he might have another Entomb in hand? Maybe not. I could be wrong on that.
He has 3 force of wills.
Oh, never mind.
So
he could force pitch force and still have force backup.
Yes. I think maybe you should just go ahead and fight here because you're down a game and you need to give yourself a chance to win.
Yep. And we're going to see a brainstorm in response. Looks like 2 lands and a not land.
And an invocation.
No, it's not an invocation. It's just a black card.
Oh, okay.
That's also in black and white. Is it another surgical extraction? I doubt it. It can't be.
It is. That's an invocation.
That one is a daze.
Okay, so he is playing daze. All agreed. West Ormsbee, all agreed. Basic plains, basic swamp, daze.
All right. Well, is he? Are we gonna see the force pitch brainstorm?
Now, if West has a force here,
that's
gonna be pretty brutal. All right.
That's a fight for the. What were we even fighting over here?
The Iona.
Well, yeah, we were fighting over the Iona in the graveyard with the surgical stack.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna go back to Pat with 1 land Exhume in hand.
Ugh. You could. I mean, if you're West, you could also just like let all that happen, and then whenever the reanimate happens, counter there. But they both devoted an awful lot of resources to that battle. That's why I love Legacy.
Yep.
Yeah, Marsh Flats. Crack it. We're gonna exhume. Here we go. I get one, you get one. It's fair. Exhume is a fair card. Everybody gets a creature.
I'll run down and find out what color he names on this though. I feel like he has to name white. Though.
Yeah, surely he has to name white because he knows about the swords.
Yeah, and he doesn't like Iona's. How big's Iona?
7/7.
Yeah, so she doesn't care about a 3/2.
Yeah.
Get out of here, stupid wizard.
3/2 guy.
Yeah, 3/2 guy.
All right, exhume. Yeah. The most fair of all the Magic cards.
Common.
Yeah.
Can be played in Pauper.
I've seen it played.
I play it.
The new guy from Hour of Devastation that's like a 6/6 hexproof that has cycling for a blue.
Yeah.
You cycle him on turn 1, then exhume on turn 2. All right, so here's Iona. We're gonna assume white. If we need to run downstairs, we will. Okay, since it's not getting swords right now, it's got to be a white. Yeah. All right, so Wes is going to play a land and kick it back.
I think Patrick drew another exhume. I could be wrong.
7.
That's a quick clock.
That's a very quick clock. Well, we'll take Wes down to 10.
And Patrick is checking out his yard, but I think Patrick drew another exhume. Yep.
Iona might be enough.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to beat an Iona, but also it's really hard to beat an Iona if you're playing basically a mono green deck.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've had it cast against me playing Death and Taxes. I've seen people have it cast against them playing Burn. I've seen it cast against Elves.
I had it played against me in Modern when I was playing Burn for a short time. And it felt real bad, and I was like, well, cool.
I was playing against Sean once. He was on Reanimator, and he brought out an Iona against me. I was on Charlotte's Bug, and we both thought we were out of prizes, so we were kind of discussing like what it should be. And I'm like, I think you should name black because Liliana and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, okay, I name black. And then I rip a Jace off the top.
And bounce it to his hand.
Bounce it, and then I make top 4. I felt pretty bad.
Yes.
No, but we went over it. I think black is actually the correct choice general against Shardless.
I think one of the best ones was the first team event here. Round one I played against black red Reanimator. He turn 1 exhumed at the end of my turn. Turn 2 entombed a Siren of Insanity. Managed to win game 1 through the Siren of Insanity.
Nice.
Game 2 I lost to a turn 1 Iona. Entomb. Exhume. Go get Iona. Name green. I was like, well.
Can't beat that.
Poop. Looked at my opening hand. Game 3. Surgical Extraction. Thoughtseize. Deathrite Shaman. Scavenging Ooze. Land.
Seems great.
I was like, alright.
Keep.
Snap.
Alright, so Delver cracked back, so both players are at 9. We're at Pat's main phase. He's casting Careful Study right now. I saw like Daze, Reanimate. I'm not. Alright, so he's gonna pitch 2 reanimations. He's just on the Iona plan right here, so he's keeping that Daze to help protect it if there's anything West can do to kill it. Alright, West is down to 2.
I guess it doesn't. The Iona
1,
doesn't just
sorry.
stop the swords. It also stops the
Vindicate.
Yep.
I'm not sure if there's like a Jace or a Liliana or anything like that.
It has to be.
Dismember doesn't kill it. Obviously, Fatal Push or Abrupt Decay don't kill it. Like I'm not really sure what West can. Like Jace, if there's a Jace in his deck, that might be his best bet.
He can't.
He can. Yeah, he'd have to have 2 more mana.
What can we?
I mean, I guess he can block 1 turn and then. But
He can block Dismember.
He could block Dismember. Yeah, that's a play. But he'd have to pay the full mana for the Dismember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like.
He doesn't have double black right now because he has Tundra Plains.
Yep. Well, I was.
We're trying. We're
trying
yeah.
to figure out how to get the Scion off.
Alright, so Iona block.
Unless it's just to postpone for 1 turn so you can find Hase and bounce it back.
Yeah, but Pat has Daze.
Well, I'm trying to.
But Wes doesn't know that. Yeah.
I'm trying to give Wes outs.
Looks like he might have drawn Leyline in the Void.
He's gonna have Unsummon.
All right.
Darn it.
Pat takes game 2. We are going to game 3. That was exciting. I like tying it up.
I was hoping for an Unsummon.
Unsummon would have been great.
Unsummon.
You know what happens when your opponent casts Unsummon and Legacy? You automatically say, "Why isn't that Vapor Snag?" And then they're like, "Well, because I want to play Unsummon."
Yeah.
And you say, "Well, Unsummon isn't as good as Vapor Snag," and they say, "Well, it beat you."
Exactly. And then you just look at them dead in the eyes, and they're just like, they have no idea what to say. I will admit, the one night when I was at work, somebody was like, "Can I get this?" And I just looked them dead in the eye and go, "No."
I do that all the time. It's the best.
No.
No, we don't sell anything here. Please leave.
Can I get this? No, you can't.
No.
And then they don't know what to do. Yeah, man, we got you. I got you.
So if you've been under a rock, we are running our Eternal Festival, which is our own mini 4 Horsemen Eternal weekend here, all weekend long. We've got Eternal flavored Magic the Gathering events all 3 days. We've got our 6:30 Modern FNM, which should have just kicked off, unless Ron wants me to go back down there and box his ears. Tomorrow at 11, we have our Team Eternal event. Team Eternal is Modern, Proxy Legacy, and Proxy Vintage. We've got Eternal Masters drafts at 3 o'clock tomorrow. We just got a couple Eternal Masters boxes in today. We have Modern side event tomorrow at 7 o'clock. On Sunday, we have our Legacy Championships at 11 and the No Ban List Modern event at 3 o'clock, which everybody's super excited for.
I am. I'm super excited for that. I also just realized that in the Force of Will counter war, I totally forgot to ham horn. Hit him with the horn.
Oh, well. Well, we've got 3 more rounds of action after this.
And we still have a game here.
And we still have a game here, yeah.
We could see something wild and happen.
I'm sure Wes boarded it out, but the whole reason I put him on camera is because I wanted to see Delver flip to Mine Funeral.
To my funeral.
So I hope he left it in. He should have left it in because it makes his brainstorms better because he always has something to shuffle away with brainstorm. But like flip my Delver, then shuffle it away with a brainstorm.
Entomb and Reanimate in his opening hand for Patrick.
And
Ponder.
it doesn't look like Patrick's playing any Lotus Petals or any kind of fast mana. He looks like he's trying to play a little longer with more counter spells, which is fine.
I mean, how fast do you need to put a Gristlebrand into play?
I mean, turn 2 is just about as good as turn 1.
All right, so. Oh, man.
Oh no.
Man, they rocking it down there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Well, we'll adjust it in between rounds.
It's not terrible right now.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll slide it to the left a wee bit after this. So Wes is on the play. He's gonna play Polluted Delta and kick it back. Pat is gonna play the Swamp, and looks like he might be entombing right now. No, that's a Thoughtseize, which I like. I like kicking these discard spells in early because you'd rather Wes spend his Spell Pierces and Dazes on these, or this does give Wes an opportunity to brainstorm in response here. Wes is at 19. What would be super next level is if Wes like brainstorms a surgical to the top of his deck to protect it, and then Pat's like, all right, Lotus Petal Entomb, Lotus Petal Reanimate.
Okay.
That would be the best. All right, Spell Pierce. That's fine.
All right, well. Doesn't look good for Patrick. That doesn't look like much is going to resolve if he is going to Spell Pierce. Wants to protect something in there.
Yeah. All right. Ooh, sinkhole. Swamp down. Those are real, like beta sinkholes. They're I saw them. They're very nice.
They are nice.
All right, Marsh Flats. I love that Pat actually taps his fetch lands, because that's what the card says to do.
You tap and sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, and most people don't do that. Like that's what you're supposed to do. It says right on the card.
Heathens.
I know. I don't think I do it either. Like,
or the people who just put the fetch land in the graveyard because it's gonna respond, but you never know when your opponent's gonna like, hold on there, buddy.
Yeah, like
stifle.
I got priority, man.
I will admit I played at a regionals and because nobody ever expects you to like stifle an Evolving Wilds in Standard.
With the new creature.
Well, not just that, but Summary Dismissal and
Are there 3 stifle effects in Standard?
Yeah, the creature, Summary Dismissal, and the
if you're playing
Disallow.
And if you're playing limited, there's actual stifle.
And there's actual stifle.
All right. Man, there's another sinkhole. He's gonna float a black to Entomb. If Wes has like a Spell Pierce or a Daze for this is gonna be backbreaking. It's gonna happen though. Still, like that. Oh, 2 sinkholes is brutal. Love it.
But because like the thing is, like, in Standard nobody expects it, and especially like if you're sitting there and you're like, all right, I've got 4 mana for Summary Dismissal, and this was a while ago before Disallow was printed though. So like Summary Dismissal was in there whenever Emrakul's were running rampant. So people are like, all right, Emrakul, get my extra turn trigger, get all my Kozilek's return triggers in my graveyard, do all the stuff, and then you're like, all right, Summary Dismissal, exile everything, counter your Emrakul.
Ugh, brutal.
But I was like, if somebody's struggling on lands and they're like, oh man, I finally got my Evolving Wilds, I will definitely fire off a Summary Dismissal and counter an Evolving Wilds.
So Pat got Iona, which has been surgical, and we're looking at Pat's hand. He does have an island and 2 ponders to dig himself out of this.
And it looks like an Ixum and a Reanimate.
Yeah, so Pat's situation isn't as bad as it could be. He is definitely behind, though.
He's gone through 3 lands now.
Yeah. Although the thing is that Wes has no pressure. If like he had a Delver on the table, then I think Pat's situation would be much worse than it is right now.
Yeah.
So Wes just needs to find some. Ooh, and there's the swamp, like right on time. Now he doesn't even need to dig for lands.
Doesn't have to worry about the wastelands on West's side either.
Yeah.
Now he just has to ponder up a threat.
Yep. Ponder. You want to see like Careful Study Geek Grizzlebrand or Collective Brutality Grizzlebrand or something like. Or an Entomb would be great, obviously.
Yep.
Looks like Wes is taking a.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
All right.
Underground Sea.
That is a ponder, not a brainstorm. Did he put those in his hand?
Yes, he did.
All right. I'll let you go handle that. Now, Brainstorm and Ponder are similar cards, but they are not the same, and unfortunately, they do not work the same way. It looks like the players may have handled it on their own. Now, and this is FNM, we are playing at a regular REL. If this was a competitive REL, that would be an automatic game loss, but we, when we're playing regular REL, if the players are able to sort it out among themselves, we generally Yeah, okay, good. I was just telling everybody, at regular REL, if players are able to sort it out among themselves, we generally let them do that. If this were a competitive REL event, as soon as that card touched his hand, that unfortunately would have been a game loss.
It's not a game loss yet, is it?
Have you...
Draw too many cards?
Or, no, it used to be.
He just gets thought seized now by Westley.
Yeah, that's right.
And Westley gets to put the 2 cards back or whatever, something weird like that.
So here's the Deathray Shaman, which Pat did not see in Game 1 or Game 2, though you could probably assume was in the deck. And Wes kicks it back. Here's that second Ponder. Wes has, or Pat has plenty of land.
Patrick should have cast the Ponder off of the
island, not the Underground Sea. Yeah, that was a bit of a sequencing error for sure.
Yeah, because then he could Entomb.
Yeah, because he drew, and he has that Entomb. That's... Ugh.
Did he miss his land drop too?
He has a swamp in hand, doesn't he?
Yeah, did he not play it that turn?
I'm not sure.
Not really sure how Pat digs out of this one right now.
That seems...
wait, he doesn't have green.
Yeah, I was going to say, Wes doesn't have green.
If he doesn't have green, he doesn't have
because he has 2 Underground Seas and a Tundra.
Alright.
I mean, he doesn't have green other than his Deathray Shaman. Watch him have an Elvish Spear Guide in hand and just break Patrick here.
Oh my god.
Alright, reanimate.
Can't fault the man for having Elvish Spirit Guides. I love me some Elvish Spirit Guide.
I'm going to reanimate. Alright, in response, I'm going to pitch this Elvish Spirit Guide.
I thought about playing it for a while. I was like, how can I play Elvish Spirit Guide and Elves?
I've seen Maverick lists now that are playing it so they can play Thalia on turn 1 or Gaddock on turn 1.
Alright, that seems good.
I mean, I haven't made the jump, but like I see some appeal to it.
I mean, Elves is already not a great matchup for you. If you literally just go, alright, turn 1 Gaddock, and they're like, well...
That helps, yeah.
Yeah, they can't Green Sun Zenith for 0 to get their Dryad Arbor anymore. Which is a really good turn 1 play for Elves. Or maybe not a good one, but a common one.
DRS is going to eat an Entomb, take Pat down to 17. And here's the Delver, and now, now I'm really liking Wes's spot. If he just had a Trop in play, we may call this game. Although, Patrick still has Show and Tells in his deck, so that's a thing.
I think Patrick is wary that Wesley's going to Deathrite Shaman without realizing that he doesn't have green open.
It's possible.
Also, there's a Surgical Extraction in Wes's hand that I just noticed.
Gross.
There are 2 Surgical Extractions in Wes's hands that I just noticed.
How do you... I'm amazed. It says something that Pat's even up a game against this deck that has 4 Deathrite Shamans and 4 Surgicals main board.
True.
And it's also counterspell deck. Mind Funeral! Ah!
Brainstorm.
Mind Funeral is so much cooler than Brainstorm.
Yes.
Alright, so he's at...
Have some fun. Mind Funeral, your opponent... I honestly feel like, as you're talking about, it doesn't seem good to have the Mind Funeral Patrick here. That seems fine if you're sitting on 2...
Surgical Extractions? Yeah, you're right. He should definitely have Mind Funeral on the deck. Alright, here's the old Entomb.
Or if you have Deathrite Shaman out,
True. Very true.
You can respond... You can't respond to Exhume if they have 2 creatures, because they're just like, alright, I'll bring this other one back.
There's a Gristlebrand going into the graveyard. I would imagine as soon as Wes has priority, he's going to Surgical that thing.
Or maybe wait until he plays
to try
to actually
2
bring
for
it
1.
back.
Yeah. I think you can get some value off of it. That'd be so brutal if the life loss off Reanimate was part of the cost.
That would be brutal.
Yeah. Looks like there may be a question on priority because it looks like Wes may be trying to Surgical right now.
Do you want me to go down and figure that out?
No, it looks like they've figured it out.
Yeah.
All right, so here's Here's another Entomb.
Entomb number 2.
Oh man.
Entomb.
Ha 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 ha.
Ha. Ha.
Alright. With that Entomb on the stack, it looks like Wes is going to go ahead and surgical the first Grizzlebrand.
Okay.
And this will force Patrick to get something other than a Grizzlebrand, which means that Wes's second surgical will be live to get the Elishnorn or whatever else he has. Oh, and Pat does have a force, but no second blue card. Again, awkward tapping on the mana there because since he tapped both of his black sources, he won't be able to cast a reanimation spell after the Entomb.
I think the question came down to when priority happens here.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so Grizzlebrands are gone. Second Entomb is resolved. Oh no, that's why he tapped both black sources because he cast 2 Entombs.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. My B.
Alright, Elishnorn.
Alright, Elishnorn is good against the board.
They're discussing priority again, probably.
Yeah. Just priority is a hot topic of discussion tonight at Four Horsemen. Alright, so here, putting reanimate, or no, because...
Oh, this might have been at the end of Wes's turn.
I think this is
the end of Wes's turn.
I think this is the end of Patrick's turn after he's cast the 2 reanimates. And now we're going to surgical down to 15. Targeting the Elishnorn. Pat's going to show him the same 3 cards. And Wes is going to take a quick... Or no, he's just going to shuffle.
He knows that that's
because he knows there's only one. And he already saw how Pat sideboarded.
Yep.
Alright, no, you were right. That was at the end of Wes's turn. So untap.
Entomb.
Again. No, it's careful.
Careful. So I thought it was an Entomb again.
All the redraws for Patrick Yuhas. Let's go. Come on. We want Grave Titan here. Wes is going to try to fight.
Please find Grave Titan. Although, what is that a Vindicate in hand? There's a Vindicate in there.
Yeah, probably.
Vindicate Force of Will, I think.
Yeah, so there's Force of Will pitching. It was probably either Daze or Stifle.
Or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Down to 14. That might be the nail in the coffin right there. And
he's gonna eat it.
Yep. Take down to 10. Because you never know when Snapcaster and Tomb will happen.
That'd be
sweet.
Horn. I would air horn that up.
Air horn the heck out of it. All right. So Flood Strand. In for 3.
7. One more turn to clock. You have 1 turn, Patrick, to find a threat.
Yep.
Draws Entomb.
And it can't be Grave Titan because Grave Titan doesn't do anything. So he may not. He may not have. He has to have because Grave Titan doesn't do anything. Inkwell Leviathan doesn't do anything. Iona is gone. He needs Elishnorn. No, Elishnorn is gone. He needs Iona.
Yeah. And that doesn't do anything.
Well, it blocks the Delver.
It blocks Delver.
But Iona may not win though.
Oh, man.
All right, here's fetch. Does Wes just have every counter spell?
No, I think he's just fetching a response. He has no cards in hand.
Oh, okay. He's just fetching. That's fine.
Why not? Enjoy the time in the spotlight, am I right?
I would say Brainstorm, but yeah, I mean, like, anything to stay on camera a little longer.
Yeah, Path to X, represent Path.
I got Path.
Not Sorts, Path.
Uh-huh.
He's probably got all the basics out of his deck.
I've seen Nick Fit players who play Path to Exile because they make their opponents rip the basics out of their decks anyway with Veteran Explorer.
That's sweet. What is the other one that I was thinking about?
Zoo also plays Path because they don't want their opponents gaining life because they're
countering themselves.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. There's another deck that I know plays Path because just not a ton of basics in Legacy.
And sometimes you see it in the sideboard of Death and Taxes and Maverick.
That was it. Was Death and Taxes.
Yeah. That's gotten pretty common with Grixis Delver being like the best deck. Quote unquote.
Because
Alright, down to 5.
Attack.
Down to 2.
Activate. Stifle.
All right, and that's it. Wes and his 4-color-ish Delver deck takes the match 2-1. Great match by both players. And we only have 5 minutes left on their clock, so I imagine everybody else is done. So we should be back with a round 2 feature match rather quickly. We will be right back, guys.